Do you struggle to take everything you know, everything you've built, and turn it into an offer ecosystem that people actually understand and want to buy? You have the expertise, you have the ideas, but getting all of that out of your head and into offers that connect, speak to the right people, sell with ease, and actually grow your business, that's a whole different skill set. And that's exactly what this show is about. Welcome to the OfferMojo Show. I'm Lori Young, offer strategist and creator of the OfferMojo framework. I help coaches and expert led business owners package their expertise into offers you love and buyers actually crave. Because when your offers finally click, everything else gets easier. Let's get into it. If you've ever looked at your business and thought, how did this get so complicated? This episode is for you. Somewhere along the way, a lot of us end up running a business that looks nothing like the life we actually wanted when we started it. Too many offers, too many delivery formats, a calendar that doesn't match our energy, and revenue goals that were never really reverse engineered from anything real. Today, we're talking about how to simplify your whole business, not just your offer, but your income goals, your lifestyle, and the way you actually like to deliver your work so that everything you're building fits the life you're trying to live instead of fighting it. And I have a very special guest with us. Sonya Ramsey spent years in the corporate world, first as an engineer, then in technical sales and marketing before building her own business. And along the way, she learned that most online businesses don't fail from a bad idea. They fail from too many offers, too many directions, and no clear sense of who they're actually for. She had to simplify her own strategy more than once before she found out what actually works. And now she helps people who teach, coach, or consult for a living do the same, simplifying what they sell and rebuilding around clarity, income, and freedom. I love this. I'm looking forward to this episode myself because and this is part of our Refine and Recline podcast series this summer, where we're actually looking at what can we refine in our business? How can we simplify? How can we declutter? How can we make things just a little easier for us while we're also reclining and enjoying the summer? So, welcome, Sonia, to the show. I am so happy. Maybe you could just start by giving us a little bit of background. I love it's like I see your guitars over there, and then I hear, okay, you were an engineer and in technical sales. Like I feel like it's two different kinds of brains, like a very creative brain and a very technical, like analytical brain.
Yeah, well, first of all, Lori, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here because I love what you're doing. Because not enough people talk about offers, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit today. But yeah, my journey is kind of unique. I just was on this mission trying to figure out what could I do to really build the life that I wanted. I was doing all right in corporate, but I grew up in that era where you get a job, you stay there till
Mhm.
retirement, and then you just go off into the sunset. But I was never settled in my heart with
Right,
that. I
right.
just even working in corporate, I'm like, I got to do something business related. I don't know what it is,
Hmm.
but I'm going to figure this thing out. And just through, gosh, I think it was divine intervention because I
Hmm.
was at a Toastmasters event and
Hmm.
we were in the hallway. Once it was over, there was someone there, and I'm aging myself a little bit here, but at that time, you would sell these programs in the CDs and DVDs.
Yes,
And
I
so,
relate.
okay, you can relate. All right,
Yes.
so you're with me. Hopefully, your listeners understand this. But I was in the hallway, and this woman who also purchased the program just said, "Hey, why don't we get together with the other buyers and start this mastermind?"
Okay.
I didn't really even know what that was, but I just said, "Okay, sure." And
Mhm.
then I got slated to just call people because people weren't showing up consistently. It was just through the phone. We were all on the call together. And for a long time, it was just the two of us. And her name was Julie. Julie says, "Why don't you just call and see where everyone is and if they're really serious about this? Otherwise, we can just, just disband the group." So I
Hmm.
called people and I happened to speak to this person. She's a dear friend of mine now. She'll probably be listening, Arlene.
Okay.
And we were just talking, and she says, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm thinking about starting a business. I just don't know yet what to do, but I'm reading a book." And she's from the East Coast. She just stopped me and she's like, "You can't learn how to start a business from a book. You need a business coach, and I've got just the person for you." And she introduced me to this world of coaching, consulting, specifically in the online space. And
Hmm.
that was 2012. And I'm still working at the time, but I would do this kind of as a side
Hmm.
hustle, never compromising my full time job, but just exploring.
Sure.
So that was during the time pre-COVID, right? We were running to live events, and she was kind of my running partner. We would go to all of these different events, and that's when I really landed on this is what I want to do. Like I can
Okay.
truly take what I love and build a business around it. And what I loved, and at that time, like I said, or you mentioned in the introduction, I had some hiccups along the way, but where I landed that was consistent throughout was helping people
Hmm.
really unpack what they're good at and building some type of business around it because that's what I did for myself. And
Hmm.
so it was that drive of just really wanting to really help people. But yeah, so that's kind of it. That's how I got started, and I didn't know if it was going to be technical.
Hmm.
I tried some of that, but I stumbled upon where it really stuck and I got some traction was just through helping musicians because I was looking online for a teacher. And that's how
Okay.
I got started. And I got several who were clients, and I just got better even as a guitarist. So that's why you see all those guitars in the back
Okay.
because when I started, it was just one guitar. So I've got, I think, five there. I've got two on the wall, and
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
I've got about eight right now.
Are
But
you like a really good guitar player now?
I would say I'm intermediate. I don't you won't see me. You might see me online just playing a few progressions, but you're not going to see me on stage or any of that. That's
Okay.
I'll leave
What
that
kind
to the
of music do you
experts.
like to play?
I'm sorry.
What kind of music do you like to play?
I like gospel,
Okay.
CCM.
Hmm.
That's really what I because I love that music and actually one of my clients just through looking for someone online for that particular genre there weren't people out there doing that
Okay.
and I don't know if we'll get to the story, but that's how he ended up launching his business. He was always great at that genre, but he never thought he could teach it online. So
Got it.
maybe we'll
Okay.
get to his story during
Sure.
the
Sure.
talk today. But
Okay.
yeah, that's how it happened.
All right. Now, I'm assuming that at one point there was a moment or something in your business where you said, "Oh my God, this business is getting way too complicated," and you had to kind of like figure out like what do I need to do to simplify it? Tell me about that moment in your own business.
Sure. Well, we could spend the whole show on that, but I'll spare you the specific details. But really, it actually is more recent. It was toward the end of 2025,
Okay.
beginning of 2026. And you ever have that experience where you're asking yourself, how did I get here? Like, how did I get to this point? And
Hmm.
where that point was, I got to was, as you described, just feeling way in over my head, overwhelmed. It started to feel like a full time job and not a business that I love. And so, how did I get there? Well, I was part owner in two different businesses.
Okay.
I just didn't have any clarity because my problem, which I think your listeners and probably you've talked about it too, is you have a lot of knowledge in different facets of online businesses, and it's so easy to get distracted. And now with AI, it's elevated to an entire new level, and chasing this and webinars and YouTube and product launches and writing copy and building agents and on and on and on. And then what really was, I guess, the straw for me was still doing all of these things,
Hmm.
providing services for clients, but now I have a client that we're building from the ground up, and I'm super excited about it. But it's a lot of moving pieces,
Hmm.
and what I realized is, okay, stop. You got to practice what you preach, right?
Okay.
I always talk about just really focusing in. I call it your concentrated authority, which is it's more than just having a niche, but it's all about how can you set yourself apart from everyone else, right?
Hmm.
So I'm telling
Yeah.
my clients this, but I'm not living what I'm teaching, and because I have such a passion to help people that I
Hmm.
don't say no, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a vice of mine, just not saying no. So I'm doing all of these custom projects, and
Hmm.
what I realize is, okay, you play an instrument. What do your teachers always tell you? Less is more. To
Hmm.
sit with that, like, and honestly, Lori, it's scary, right? Because what are you going to give up if you don't focus on this and you don't focus on that and you don't focus on this piece? But what I've come to realize is by having one focus,
Hmm.
once I now, as I teach my clients, right, the message is much stronger. I will call out or I'll be found by those people I meant to serve. But also, that doesn't mean I have to give up the other things I'm good at, because once you get a client in and you help them with that one offer,
Hmm.
it opens up potentially other avenues of business that they may not have considered,
Hmm.
or it just wasn't the right time. But now I have the skill set to focus on that. So I'm not leading with everything, I'm leading with one core offer.
Oh, wow.
And it's still new, right? It's 6 months now, but
Hmm.
I feel lighter. I don't feel stressed. I'm focusing now on my health and wellness. I go walking every day. I'm exercising. I have a trainer, and I'm okay now. And it's just the very thing that you fear is the opposite of what happens, because I have more business now
Right.
than ever before.
Right.
So I think that was my aha. I had that epiphany. It's like, yes, less truly is more. And I want that for my clients as well.
I went through that
Okay.
in the end of 2024.
Okay.
I had the business that had all of the things. I was a branding and marketing agency. I had a full team.
Hmm.
I had, oh my gosh, I don't even know, website development, social media management, like just
Yes.
everything, coaching, like
Yes.
all the stuff. And I was overwhelmed. I also realized that I'm not even really working in what I call the zone of genius. And I
Mm-hmm.
think you call it concentrated authority.
Yes.
Um, for me, it was like my something that I could call my own, something that I could say, if I had no team members whatsoever, I could still deliver to my
Yes.
client. And I had a breakdown. Like I literally reached major burnout at the end of 2024. I had a breakdown. I remember sitting in my chair and I was, complaining to my spouse, and she said to me, something needs to change.
Mm.
And the floodgates just like opened. I just started crying and crying. And I want to say I cried for a week,
Wow.
because I needed to release all of that energy. But I had that same thing, that fear of like, what am I going to do then? Like, if I knew for 18 months that I needed to sharpen my positioning. I knew I needed to lead with that one thing, but I didn't know what that one thing was. And I was scared. Just like you said, it's like, oh my God, well, what am I going to take away? And you have to do I say goodbye to clients that I'm doing this work for? Like, it was a lot. Beginning of 2025, I focused in on offers and positioning, and it became so much easier. I was just like, oh my God, I'm not going to have anything to write about because all I'm going to be talking about is offers. And now I have an entire show about offers. Like, I just talk about offers. People are probably sick of hearing about offers, but it really is simpler.
Yeah. It's so funny. I'm listening to you talk, and different year, but I didn't cry for a week. So maybe internally I was crying for a week, and I just the tears did manifest. But it like I feel like I'm just hearing myself or my story when you mentioned that. And I think the biggest thing, and it's so funny because like I mentioned, I've been in masterminds and gone to events, and I have a really pretty strong group network within the online space, and I know people that do very well with one offer. Like they're all around me, but why wasn't I doing it? It was the fear.
Mm-hmm.
And my hope is that as people are listening, that like you have to bet on yourself and just step out. And I think for me, that's when I said, okay, I'm betting on myself. I've got to let certain things go. It's still hard. I'm not even going to lie to your audience, but sometimes you just have to do it afraid, right? And then you start seeing those wins, and then your confidence just grows and grows and grows. And the next thing you look up and you're like, who was that person a year
Right.
ago or two, right? Like,
Yeah.
no, but you want to be known as whatever that thing is, that one thing. And it doesn't mean you won't get other business, but because
Right.
what, as you said, and what I'm doing, what's happening is I'm not even promoting like I want to because I'm busy. People are
Right.
referring
Mm-hmm.
people to me. So the very thing you fear is the very thing, the opposite of what will happen if you
I know,
just
and I
step
say
out.
this. I say this all the time. People think, well, if I just do the one thing, in your case, you're saying one offer. I have a little bit different philosophy about that, but I still believe in the one thing.
Yes.
And people are like, oh, I'm limiting myself. If I just do this, then or if I just talk to this client, then I'm limiting myself. It's no, yes, you are, but not in the way that you think you are.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually you're limiting your ability to be referred, like you're limiting your ability to be known
Yes.
in the online space, like you're limiting your ability to be seen because your marketing is so spread thin.
Yeah.
um,
I want to. Oh,
so,
go
and
ahead. Sorry.
I wanted to comment also a little bit about what I always say is because I work with experts who have a lot of layered experience, like you and I.
Yes.
And I always say it's okay to lead with one thing. And then when you get that client in the door, that's when you show up with all of your experience.
Yes.
Yes, I lead with offers and positioning, but I'm also working on their messaging. I'm
Mhm.
building their brand. I'm giving them a marketing plan and a visibility plan. We're working on their sales page. There's just so much that I'm doing based on all of my years of marketing. It's not just, oh, let me build your offer and now we're done.
Yeah. And Lori, don't you feel like it's seamless? Like you're not on the calls with them. Hey, did you know I do this? I do this. I do that. It just happens organically because you're bringing value to the
Right.
conversation. And then they say, oh, well, can you help me with this? Or I'm really like, that's what happens. And I think that that is the piece a lot of us are missing. And what really can happen when you do it this way is you have long-term customers. They stick around. They stay with you for a long time because they trust you're the trusted advisor. That's a
Mm-hmm.
corporate word we used to use all the time. You're the trusted advisor because you
Exactly.
bring all of that skill set. The problem is I see, and especially now more than ever because there's more people online with since COVID, and now with AI, the messaging is so watered down.
Yes,
It
it is.
just sounds the same. It looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you hear the buzzwords in your industry, and the same with me, with the musicians and some of the other experts. It's the same words. It's like, okay, AI, and the
Yes.
buyers today are much more sophisticated, so they can spot that a mile away. Whereas maybe when it was just 2012 to no one was really out there the same way people are now. Oh yeah, oh wow, this is a great message, but not anymore because they're seeing it so often, and I
Mhm.
think it kills the trust. And
Yes.
therefore, just really focusing on how to set yourself apart from everyone else. I think that's like the first part of the
Yes.
simplification process that we
Yes.
talk about.
So when you're working with clients and you are helping them to simplify their business, where are you starting? Are you starting with the offer, the income, like the numbers, their lifestyle? Like, where do you start?
So I call it messaging, or specifically concentrated authority. That's where we start because that
Hmm.
is the core of how you present yourself online, right? That concentrated authority is that it explains how you're different than
Hmm.
everyone else, and it's not niche because anyone can say, "Oh, I'm a coach. I help women." right? Or I'm
Exactly.
a musician, I teach guitar.
Right.
But that's so what? Like
Right.
everyone says that. But the
Mm-hmm.
concentrated authority pulls from your experiences,
Mm-hmm.
the customer wins, the results that you've gotten for your customers,
Mm-hmm.
uh, your formal training, your own personal experience, all of that collectively is what builds your concentrated authority. Is it something that you may nail the first time out? Probably not, but you
Mm-hmm.
tweak it as you go. And you have to really, and I think this is where coaching comes in to help, is have someone who's not vested in it. Like they're the person coming cold, and they listen and they hear what that is, and they say, does this sound like everyone else, or does this really get my ear to perk up or lean in to say, I want to know more, right? So we start there.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it's then having a heat check, or really being honest with yourself and saying, okay, what am I good at? What do I hate? Right? Do
Mm-hmm.
I like being on camera? Do I like the idea of speaking publicly? Do I want to do a podcast, or do I just want to be behind the scenes because I'm kind of shy? I don't necessarily want to be out there, but I think I have what it takes to really grow in my business.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we, because there's so much out there now online, we get distracted, right? This is the next thing, the greatest thing. This is the greatest thing. Everyone's pitching webinars, so I'm going to do a webinar. Then they say, okay, we're going to do challenges, and so let's pull it back. Let's look at you as a person, and
Mm-hmm.
what do you really get excited about? What
Mm-hmm.
motivates you in terms of just the thought of working with certain people, or what? And this brings me to the next phase in this process is, what do you want your day to day to look like? And
Right.
I'm not talking about the 4 hour work week, right? I mean, that's
Is that
that's
even
not.
possible as an entrepreneur?
Pardon me.
I said, is that possible? I guess it
I,
is. It
I mean,
depends on how you structure
I'm
your
sure
business.
it is, but I don't think it happens overnight.
No,
I think you
definitely.
have a team and all of that, but we're not there yet. We're talking about experts like ourselves that can do a lot and tend to do a lot and get overwhelmed, and so we're looking to simplify.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is, how do you want your day to look?
Sure.
Do you want to start your day cranking out videos for YouTube or for social media? Do you want to do email marketing or writing emails? Do you want to plan or design your funnels for your businesses? Like, what tech? How do you feel about technology? Like, what, being truly honest and true to you, like, what does a day to day look like for you?
Yes.
And then how many days? Maybe you want Friday off, so you build your business around that. So, and then the last piece, which is extremely important, is I call it the monetization path.
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals? Like, how
Right.
much do you want to make? And then let's reverse engineer it, right? Let's peel it back based on your messaging, how you want this business to look. There's different ways to get those results, right? We talked about
Yes.
webinars, we could do email marketing. I have a copywriting coach, and he earns a lot of his money in his business through storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
emails,
Mm-hmm.
emails
Yep.
that sell. He loves that.
Yes.
I'm learning to like it, but I may not, spend my days writing emails.
Right.
And,
Right.
so there's different paths. And I think this is where we have to figure out what's the right path based on the second and third, right? Like what motivates you, and then how you want your day to day. And then based on that goal that you have, then what are you going to offer that's going to truly serve the group that you want to serve? What's that look like price wise? And then how do we get there? So we're reverse engineering. We start with the end in mind, as Stephen Covey used to say in Seven Habits, right? So begin
Right.
with the end in mind, and now we're going to reverse engineer it. And that's what I would do. And it's not as easy as it sounds, because again, we're very attached to our businesses, and we don't want to give up certain things. And I tell people, you may not have to give it up forever. Maybe you build it this way, and then you get it to a point where you can bring someone in, or you maybe have someone and they can run that, and you just replicate that for the next thing that you're good at. But
Right.
just focus on that one thing right now. So,
Yeah, I have so much to say now. um, yeah, so what I think what I would start with is the fact that first and foremost, I think, if we were listening to what Sonia was saying, is it starts with passion. Okay. It starts with what do we want to do that we are passionate about doing when we start a business or we're growing a business. That uh, when I have a freebie called the Offer Pulse Check,
Mhm.
and it looks at the foundation of your offer. It checks for 5 vital signs of your offer. One of them is passion. If you are not passionate about your business and passionate about what you sell, when the hard times come, it's going to be really, really hard to stick with it.
Mhm.
Like this is definitely not what business is for, but it's like, could you do what you're doing for free? The fact is, I could create offers all day long, every single day, and never get paid for it and be like so happy. I'm not going to do that, obviously, but that's how much passion I have behind what I do. And then what I want to talk about also is when we are looking at our business and we're trying to make decisions about how we're going to get visibility, or what task are we going to handle and what task can we hand off to people.
Yeah.
There are so many moving pieces, and some of this stuff is figured out by trial and error. I can tell you, I come from a marketing background, and I historically, and probably still do, really believe in an omni-channel approach to marketing. So I do believe in being on multiple platforms and having multiple touch points out in the online world for people to discover my business. At the same time, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to run a podcast and to do a blog and to be on social media and to do a weekly email newsletter. All of that stuff is exhausting. And when we're looking at our business and deciding, I think the most important thing is to say, what's actually generating revenue in your business? What
Yes.
actually works? So when we start looking at pulling away some of those things that are making our business like complex, we have to look at what works, why does it work, and do we love that? So yes, continue it. Or
Mhm.
what doesn't work? Um, can it be changed to make it work better? Do you love it? No, you don't. Okay, then maybe it's something that you have to get rid of. I don't know about you, but like, how do you make decisions, like within your own business or even with other business owners, on deciding what goes and what stays to keep
Yeah,
your business simplified?
that's a great question because it's so easy to get sucked in, right? But the
Mm.
good news is, just kind of as a side comment, the technology is such now that you can do it for that one medium and then push it out to the others, and you
Yes,
know that, right? So
yes.
that's the good news.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important to think about, like, for example, I'll just give an example with um, a musician
Mm-hmm.
who is looking to grow their business.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of musicians who want to teach online posting content very consistently on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, right? But
Right.
very rare on YouTube because
Mm-hmm.
YouTube feels hard. It's a
Yes.
grind, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can post all of this and maybe get 50 views or 100 views, right?
Right.
And then you
Right.
see your peers getting that, 1 million views, and so it can be very deflating.
Mm-hmm.
But where do people hang out who are looking to learn how to sing or how to play the piano or how to play the guitar? They're on
YouTube.
YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
not Instagram. They go to Instagram to be entertained, and even TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying you can't post there, but lead with YouTube because that's where your audience is. And guess what? You don't have to have 10-minute videos. You can do the short form content just like you
Mm-hmm.
would on Instagram. Just put it on YouTube. Start there and then
I
push it
mean,
to
there's
the other.
YouTube Shorts.
Exactly. Exactly. And it lives there longer. YouTube's the number two, right? Search engine, Google's number one. Google owns YouTube. So
Hmm.
that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So it's really having a strong understanding of where your audience hangs out, where my audience hangs out, where your audience hangs out, Lori, right? And then just be visible there. And to your point, we're not saying you can't ever post other places, but just what's your main traffic strategy? And so
Right.
for that audience in that example, I would go with YouTube.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing because, boy, I have been going around and around about my own platforms. And
Mm-hmm.
lately, I tried YouTube, and you're right, it is a grind. And I'm
Yes.
not for sure that my people are on YouTube anyway, because I'm not really a teacher. I'm a strategist. So I'm not
Yes.
like necessarily like teaching things, how to kind of stuff. I put my podcast out on YouTube, but one of my mentors that I really admire is just raving about Substack right now.
Ah,
And I caught the bug from her because I just respect her so much.
yeah.
Get on Substack. I start doing Substack notes and start writing articles for Substack. And it's,
Mm,
growth is inching up,
yeah.
but I'm just like, now I'm here like this, just constant
Yeah.
threads, Instagram, LinkedIn, Substack. I'm just like, oh my God. I finally had to say, Lori, what do you enjoy?
Yes.
Like, what do you really enjoy? Because for me right now, it's all about joy.
Yeah.
Like, if my business is a drag and I'm not enjoying it, like, why am I in business? Like,
Exactly.
I think some things can be a drag in business for sure. Not everything is joyful, but like, content is a major part of your business. So
Yes.
for me, it's like, okay, where do I enjoy hanging out? I love threads. It's short form copy, easy for me to go through, easy for me to engage with people. Instagram, I'm a very visual person. LinkedIn, the community there just feels like it drags. Substack, I love the people there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of work to grow on Substack. So it's a lot of engagement of really long form content. And there's so many things. And like you said before, those bright, shiny objects. It's like if
Yes.
something's not working and we see someone over there that said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you should try this, or look how much success they're having with this. And so then we want to run toward that strategy, but that doesn't mean it's the right strategy for us.
Exactly. See, the Sonya a year or 2 years ago would have said, "Oh, let me check out Substack." Lori says it's, but when you were talking, it's Sonya, don't go there. Don't go there. Do not go there,
Right,
because
right.
I promise you, it's so as experts, it is so easy for us to get distracted. It
Yes,
really
it is.
is. So yeah.
Yes. So, what is like, in your opinion, like, what's the difference between a business that is literally designed to be simple versus just like, oh, let me get rid of this and let me get rid of this and let me just do this and let me just do this, trying to like offload a bunch of things, thinking it's going to make our lives more simple.
Yeah, that's a great question. Never thought of it, but offloading is, it still has no direction. You're just dumping things, right? You're just getting rid of things. But simplification to me is more about being able to just be really clear, crystal clear about how you want your business to run, um, based on your lifestyle.
Mm,
Simplification doesn't always mean you just only, like as we talked about, just have one thing, but the messaging is simple.
mm,
The
mhm,
approach is simple because it's simple in that it fits the lifestyle you want to live, right?
mm.
I've done it before, Lori. I'm sure you've done it where you're up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right,
That's not, that's not having a simple business, right? And
right.
I could say, well, I'm just gonna not do this and that. and still have a very complex business. But simple or simplification means, you know what, I'm not going to offer this anymore because it doesn't really serve me and how I want to live my life. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get rid of that permanently
Mm-hmm.
because this really drags me down. It takes up a lot of time. It's not fun. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't excite me. So that goes. So it's about re- revising or remodeling your business so that it is based on how you want your life. It's a lifestyle business, and again, it doesn't mean you only offer one thing, but it's your approach to everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a little bit of a devil's advocate here.
Okay, good.
Um, so sometimes I think when people hear a lifestyle business, right, that it's that people think, oh, it's not really, you're not really making money. It's just kind of like a glorified hobby. It's, you think of like, oh, the digital nomads that are in Bali,
Yeah,
working from their computers so that they can enjoy
on the beach, right?
the beautiful whatever. Do you think it's possible to have a lifestyle business and still make good amount of money?
So I think you can work towards that. I don't think that happens overnight. So, for example, I'm moving towards having a lifestyle business, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a there's still things you have to do to build the foundation, right?
Sure.
There's
Mhm.
and so I think there's a process towards it, but I personally I personally know someone who has that in
Mhm.
his business. In fact, if I'm not, I haven't checked with him in a while, but I think he's pretty much taken the year off,
Okay.
because he can do that. But he went through that process of really working hard to establish that foundation by which he could have this lifestyle business, because for him right now the priority is his wife and his child. He wants
Mhm.
to be there for them. So
Mhm.
I think it's possible, but it's not easy.
Right.
It's not easy. It really is not easy, and it's not, oh, I can do this. I believe I can do this in 2 years or 3 years. I think to get to where I see where he is right now,
Mhm.
it it took some time. But he's a very smart person, and
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I'm
and I think that's the catch sometimes too, is that a lot of, entrepreneurs are looking at the Justin Welsh, the Alex
yeah,
Hermozis, the people that are preaching this lifestyle type business. Oh, I only work, 3 days a week, 4 hours, 4 hours a day, and I make, multi seven figures. And everyone thinks, oh my God, I want that, right?
yeah,
But like you said, it takes a foundation, a really strong foundation. It takes an offer that really sells it. Like, do you know how big those people's audiences are? Like, oh my God, they can send out one email
yeah,
and sell like all kinds of stuff. They've built that audience over years and years and years.
yeah,
So it's not something like you said that happens like overnight.
yeah. And I think what's really hurting the industry overall is when you hear that messaging of, hey, I just built this da da da, and now I made $100,000 in 2 hours. I'm
Mhm.
exaggerating, of course.
Right,
And let me show you how to do it. So you only have to work 1 hour a week. Click
right.
here. So they're going for volume, right? They're selling that idea of being able to make a quick buck.
Mhm.
What I would hope more of us do, and this is what I do, is build a business for sustainability, longevity,
Yes.
because this fad we're in now won't be the same 5 years from now. Like,
Mm-mm.
can you build something today that will still be relevant 5 years from now? Maybe
Right.
you want to then sell it and retire. But like, are we talking about a quick buck, or are we talking about building a business that will be here 5, 10 years from now? And I've seen it happen with my mentors, and that's what I want, and that's what I want for my clients as well.
Yeah.
But these messages of false hope, false promises, run.
Right.
Run,
Oh my gosh, yes.
run.
So, what do
Yeah,
you feel like makes a sustainable business that's going to be here 5 years, 10 years? Because I've been in business for 10. You've obviously been in business for even longer than that. I think you
yeah.
said 2012, right?
12. Yep.
Yeah, so that's 14 years because I'm 10. I started in 2016. Um, what do you believe like makes a sustainable business, especially in a dynamic business climate like we are in right now, where like literally everywhere I turn, people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm pivoting, I'm refiguring, I'm figuring out what my offers are now." They're AI is like wiping a lot of things out. I hate to say that.
Yeah, yeah.
What makes a sustainable business that's going to last 5 years, 10 years?
I think it's no different than my answer is more as it relates to online business, but I think it's no different than what you know brick and mortar businesses is solving big problems,
Mm-hmm.
solving at the that's what a business is, right?
Yes.
Businesses solve problems for a
Mhm.
specific audience. If you're constantly looking, and if you really know your audience, you understand their problems. And then once you solve those problems, there are more problems. So like you helped with this, now here's the next thing. So it's always being aware of what your needs are of your audience, the customers you serve, your community. And if you stay
Yes.
on top of that, like had I not pivoted, I'm not pivoting, but like had I not said, okay, I got to find AI is here.
Mhm.
How do I integrate it into what I'm telling my community so
Sure.
that they can do things better, faster, stronger, et cetera, right?
Mhm.
So it's we if we want a sustainable business, we have to stay on top of what the needs are of our customers. I think that
I I love that, and I feel like this is just like a great place to like end because I always say we're going back full circle when we talked about the one thing. I
yes,
always say like people are so afraid of like the niching word. I always say, what do you want to be known for? What is that problem you want to solve
yeah,
for your
yeah,
audience? Like that's what it's about, like solving problems. I
yeah.
mean, if we look at even product based businesses, any kind of product that comes onto the market, it's there to solve a problem.
If you
So
can
I
solve
think,
a problem, you got a business.
yes, solve a problem. Exactly. Solve a problem, have good customer service.
Yeah,
Like you said, pay attention to what your audience is asking for and needing. Staying like you have to stay, like you have to be dynamic and
yes,
evolve as the world is evolving. You got to stay with it.
that's so true.
So, any if people are interested, like any place, like where can people reach out to you? What major platform do you hang out on?
Yeah, so the best way to reach me, I've got a blog. It's sonyaramsey.com, and you'll see the blog. That's my main website. The blog is there.
Okay,
And I have a special gift if you are okay with me sharing with my
sure, absolutely.
so for your community, I have it's just a simple I call it a simplification audit. So it's
Mhm.
just covering some of the things we talked about. No pitching or anything, just wanting to give back. And all you need to do to take advantage of that is go to sonyaramsey.com slash
Mhm.
simplify.
Simplify.
And we'll get on a call for about an hour and let's see what we can do to help you. You'll walk away with something tangible that you can take back. Nothing's for sale there, but that's
Awesome.
my gift to your community.
I love it. Thank you so much
Appreciate it.
for that. I will put that link in the show notes. Any closing words of wisdom that you want to leave with listeners today?
I just like I've listened to some of your podcasts, Lori. I love what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Just stick with Lori. She like offers are some. That's the thing. A lot of people don't strongly talk about, and I think when you don't have a strong offer, you don't have the business that you could have. And
Yes,
people say, well, I'm doing this and doing that, and I have this, but is your offer really good? So don't give up. Just be
right.
persistent stick with it. Listen to what Lori is telling you, because it's so true. We kind of have some overlap. But we're saying the same thing in a
Mhm,
sense.
mhm.
We're saying the same thing. So don't chase the quick dollar.
Right.
Chase just having a sustainable business that'll
Foundation.
serve you and your family. Yeah.
I always say that offers are the foundation of your business. If you look at your home and the foundation that your home is sitting on,
Yes.
that's your offer.
Yeah.
Your offer is the foundation of your business. So,
Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you so much, Sonia, for being here.